Yakshimash, this my house. Entry, please. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Ian and I moved 600 miles from my family in the south of England to live here in the northeast of Scotland, in the middle of nowhere. And North and Forth is my channel where I take you out to have a look around the sights of northeastern Scotland, a little bit of day-to-day life living here in the middle of nowhere. And today I'm going to show you around my 200-year-old granite cottage here in the Scottish countryside. We're going to start here on the driveway to my house, and then I'm going to walk you around the garden and then I'll take you inside. As we go, I'll tell you what I've done to the property. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them, especially if you're thinking of a move to Scotland. So this is the driveway to my house. You can just about see it up there at the back of the trees. To the left of my property is the old farmyard with a now disused barn, barley field there. Skies are fabulous today, and you can see that this is the driveway up to my house. That white box is fibre, which they just fitted only yesterday. So my ground starts here. The driveway is obviously a hardcore driveway. I just keep basically 3 or 4 feet either side of the driveway mown, just so that you can drive up it nicely and it looks lovely. A lot of the garden you will see I leave to, I call it wildflower meadow. This is really good for the birds. I don't know whether you can see that, but those seeds are really good for the birds, and you see the chaffinches, the jenny wrens, etc. on it all the time. So basically I leave it to go wild like that in quite a few areas, as you'll see, all around the margins along there, really for the wildlife and the birds. And then I do cut paths through the garden so that you can walk about it nicely. There's 2 really big sycamore trees here. I have left those in. When I first moved here, I was inclined to take some of these trees out, but I'm very glad I didn't, because in the winter it gets very windy here and they are actually a very good natural windbreak. So if you're buying a house anywhere and there are big things you want to do, like trees and hedges and things like that, leave it a year and see why they're there. And you will notice, if you do move to Aberdeenshire, that most of the houses that are detached and out in the countryside have trees all around them that people haven't removed for that very reason. So as you can see, got fir trees there, silver birch in the middle here, and then some more sycamore there. Moving on along, come into the main lawn area. This part is a seating area. I would imagine there was probably a shed here once upon a time. I put my little table there and come down and sit here in the evening, because it gets the very last, the west facing sun sets over there, and it gets the very last of the sun, and it's a really pretty view across there, through there. And then up here I have one of my bird boxes that I put up that nothing has actually used yet, which is a bit rude, having gone to the trouble of putting them up. And then I call this front bit the posh garden, because it faces south and the lawn is really rather nice. It mows up really nicely, and as you can see, you get a really nice view of the house from here. It's south facing, the terrace faces south, so it's a really nice place to sit. But there you go. So this is my posh garden. Again, I leave all the margins fairly wild. There are runs through here. I've caught all sorts. If you look down there, Don't know whether it'll pick that up, but there is a run through there. So you get badgers, fox, roe deer, etc. So yeah, so this is the front garden. Conservatory there. I didn't really know what to do with that, and I still don't. The conservatory is a fairly basic conservatory. In the summer, from about February, end of February to November, it's perfect to sit in. During the real winter months, I use it to keep peat and logs for the fire. Really, it probably needs a new conservatory or new garden room or something. But the terrace here is really lovely. See, I've got my table there. The cottage is harled all the way around. I did speak to a surveyor about the harling. I have access to surveyors in my job, luckily, so I'm able to. You see a lot of people who, when they're doing these cottages up, they take the harling off and they repoint the stonework, etc. And that is actually what I was thinking of doing, but I took advice from a surveyor and he said, no, if it's harled, it was harled for a reason, don't take it off. So it's staying harled. And then the roof, which is concrete tiled. It wouldn't have been concrete tiled originally, it would have been slate probably. I had the skews repointed. The skews are those stones along the side which stop the wind getting under the tiles. I had the ridges rebedded, I had the chimneys repointed, and the flaunching, which is the cement around the chimney pot that the chimney pot's bedded in, I had that all redone. Replanted these planters. I've cleaned all the gutters out, put them all back together. This is just my woodshed. That's where the swallows were nesting up in the back there. They've now fledged, as you may well have seen in another of my videos. If you want to see that, go back through the videos, because I've got footage of the swallows in their nest and on the fence being fed by the parents. So, moving round, I keep a bird feeder up there, look, so I can watch the birds from the conservatory. And we move round. That's my driveway looking back out where we've just come from. And then around here. So, just to show you over here, the white box on the barn there, so the white box on the barn there is the electrics for the well, and the well is right down across the field there. If you're interested in the well, there are 2 videos back on the channel. One is about how the well works and the pumps and all of that sort of stuff, and then one is about when it failed one morning and I had to fix it. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, dive back through the channel, you'll find the videos. So I was in 2 minds here about whether to put a proper hedge along here and block the barn out, but to be honest with you, I don't want to enclose myself in. I really like being able to. One of the reasons I bought this place, not just for the peace and quiet, but was you can see the openness of it and how far you can see, and I don't want to start enclosing myself in. So this is the front door. I would imagine there was some sort of porch on there at some point. I've repainted the front door. That's my Starlink satellite there, which gives us satellite internet. I repaired that bit of pipe because it was fractured off here and the water was just running straight down in here, washing all this away and not running into the drain. So it would have been doing damage to the foundations. So I know it looks a bit Heath Robinson, but I connected that up and put it into the drain. So this bit faces west, so you do get nice evening sun here, and you can see the chimney's all been, the flaunching down the skews has all been done. And then we've got my garage. I'm not going to show you in there because it's absolutely chock-a-block full of stuff, but it's a tandem length block garage. If you look on old OS maps, this was a pigsty, and you can see inside on the floor there's where each sty was, like the concrete block marks. And then we've got a rough bit of garden at the end there, my washing line. And then over here, where that broken fence is where the septic tank is. And then that way you're looking out to the North Sea. Got some timber here to do something with at some point. My oil tank. And then I've got a block built shed here, which is just the mower garage basically. But eventually probably a workshop or some such thing. That is the good thing when you get up here in Aberdeenshire. A lot of the buildings have proper outbuildings. So not just a blockwork garage, but, you know, proper blockwork built sheds. A lot of them will have old steadings and outbuildings. So if you're looking for something with outbuildings and things, you'd be spoilt for choice up here. Anyway, back on to the tour of the garden. So you will see there that rectangle mark. That's the new boiler over there. The boiler was there. My plan eventually is to put a wood burner in the kitchen, which is where that chimney is. But the boiler pipe work was going in through that chimney. So when I had the new boiler fitted, I had it moved from there because it was blocking the path to there where it's more out of the way, and then that frees that chimney up to be used should I so desire it. The new boiler's a Grant oil boiler. It's got a 7-year warranty. I really, when I moved in here, wanted to make sure that the heating worked properly, the roof was watertight, and just get the place warm and watertight. And then heading around, this is the back part of the house, which is really not terribly glamorous, and I don't really come around here much. That's the back of my woodshed, and there's like a little courtyard area there. And then that brings us all the way back round to the posh garden at the front. So there you go, that's the outside, what I've done and how it all works. What I'll do now is I'll take you inside and I'll show you around the inside of my cottage and show you what I've done. So let's start at the front door. This part of the house, just step back a second, basically everything from there back is newer. That bit was originally a Scottish longhouse, I think, and that's the older part of the house. This bit is on a 1900 OS, but it's not on an earlier OS. So this is my hallway. As you can see. So I've decorated out there, had the flooring put down, nothing more really, and hung my pictures. I'll do that in a moment. That's the bathroom. And then through here is the kitchen. What I really liked when I bought it was the double doors, because it's very open and wide. And I really wanted somewhere that was big enough to have a table, which this obviously is. And that, I love the deep windowsills in these cottages, because the walls are all 3 foot thick granite. You get these really deep windowsills, so plenty of room for pictures and things like that. And that looks out to the west onto the barn. So you can see what I meant about potentially putting a hedge there, but I don't really want to close myself in. Spent 50 years in the south of England closed in. Don't really want it here. So yeah, space for a table, and then all the usual kitchen things. Little drinks fridge there. And then as we come round, we've got the sink there, big fridge freezer. There is a dishwasher, but there's only me, so I never ever use it. So it's a really nice, light and airy kitchen, just the right size for me. Coming through into here, now this should be the utility room. You can see I've got my utility stuff there. What is nice is it looks out onto that. So I have my desk here, as you can see. And because I have a little business, again, if you've watched any of the other of my videos, you'll know I've got a little reselling business. This is where I picture things with the light box, pack things and list them on eBay. So this little room really is very useful for me. We won't dwell there because it's not the prettiest of parts of the house. Back into the hallway, and then we've got the bathroom. So you'll see it's a 4-piece bathroom, shower cubicle, loo, basin, and a really nice double-ended bath. So that's the bathroom. So coming through this bit, we're coming into the older part of the house. I don't know whether you can see that, but that's the wall. It's good 3 or 4, it's probably 4 feet thick there. So we're coming now into what I call the old part of the house, or the what was the long house. So you've got corridor here, second bedroom, main bedroom. So I'll show you down there in a minute. So this is the sitting room. Now I went mad with the dark colour in here, as you can see. This is Dulux Oxford blue. It's a heritage colour. I put the wood burner in, and I will put a picture up to show you what was there before. It was a 1980s tiled fireplace. So we ripped that out, and then behind it was this lovely granite, the original granite surround, which the wood burner just fitted nicely into. So I love that in the winter. It's really cosy in here. Got my little, this was my Gran's sideboard, chiffonier. My drinks on there. My pictures. That goes to the conservatory. But if I pan on round, you'll see, got a sofa there. So this is a really, really nice room. I don't really use it in the summer. I only tend to use it in the winter. But it's cosy. And then heading out, I've not done anything in this room. I bought the desk, I bought the conservatory furniture, all on Facebook. I think it was no more than 40 quid the lot. The carpet tiles are the original owners from when I bought it. And then as you can see, it looks out on the posh garden. So it really is lovely to sit in, even if it's breezy and chilly outside. Got my dartboard, and the wallpaper's not my choice. So that's the conservatory. Heading back through, it'll go dark for a second and then it'll find the light. There we go. Going back through into the hallway and the second bedroom, which I have to get the door put back on because it was taken off when it was carpeted, but we've redecorated in here, as you can see, and that looks out south onto the garden. Going back round. Back into the hallway and then into the main bedroom. So there we go. So this is a really good sized room. I went quite light in here. So again, you look out onto the garden and where my storage is there. So there we go. So there we go. That is my 200-year-old granite cottage here in the northeast of Scotland. I hope you've enjoyed the tour. If you have, give the video a like. If you want to know a question about moving to Scotland or the house or what I've done, drop a comment below. And thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.